Hi everyone, it's Suyana, and I am reading Chapter 3 of the All-Inclusive Approach, the Art of Divine Remembrance. This chapter is entitled, Honesty is the Best Policy. So here we go. I want to make it clear from the very beginning this book was channeled. I channeled the divine as I wrote it, and I continue to channel the divine every day. It is also essential to recognize that the divine has a monopoly on channels. It is the sole creator, developer, broadcaster, and distributor of everything you experience, both within and around you. You too are a channel of the divine saga. Congratulations. It took me several years to share this material, not because writing it was particularly time-consuming. The actual writing took no more than 6 months altogether. But because I had to cultivate the confidence to stand behind the information and insights flowing through me. I didn't have an entity speaking through me, nor did I perceive guides in the form of voices or visible energy fields. Instead, I received insights through two primary avenues: claircognizance, claircognizance, clear knowing, and clairsentience, clear feeling. These are subtle yet powerful ways of accessing intuition, and they occur entirely internally. When I work one-on-one with clients, I connect with their energy, sensing what is present for them and receiving messages, feelings, insights, and sensations. It is the same when I connect directly with Source. The real challenge for me has been trusting this information as valid. If you identify as a clear knower or feeler, you may have experienced similar doubts, wondering if you're merely imagining things. Even after years of sharing accurate and impactful insights with clients as an intuitive Reiki practitioner, I still occasionally question whether I'm simply being clever rather than authentically channeling source consciousness. I once received an intuitive session during which a past life was revealed to me by my Reiki master teacher and facilitator. She was a gentle 30-something mother, wife, and intuitive who described her relationship with her guides as akin to watching a show. Guides would come in and out of focus before her, and she would receive insights offered by the most dominant energy of the time. At this stage in my development, I was deeply immersed in exploring the topic of trust, particularly the trust in myself and my intuition. For years to come, I would continue confronting fears around believing that what I experienced as intuition was real and not merely the product of an overactive imagination. During this session, I asked for insights about why I struggled so intensely with self-trust and confidence. I was just beginning to open myself to a relationship with Spirit and the possibility of serving as a conduit for messages to flow through me. She had described to me a lifetime in which I had honed, developed, and shared my intuitive talents with the most prominent figures of my society. She explained that a seed of doubt had been planted in my soul timeline during that incarnation. In this past life, I was a high priestess in Egypt. And as a side note, I know how typical that sounds about people on the spiritual path. So I'm not above the inability to verify that. But the information I provided to the ruler at the time contradicted the visions shared by my peers, who were also trusted advisors to the elite and influential members of our culture. As a result, I was disgraced and eventually beheaded. Even now, I recall the intense pain and tension I felt in my neck as she shared this revelation. When she told me I had been beheaded, I suddenly understood why I had always carried myself as though bracing for a blow to the back of my head, shoulders raised, head slightly lowered, constantly on guard. As she recounted this lifetime, one question kept replaying in my mind. Was I right? Was I right? Was I right? Was the intuition I shared correct, or had I been wrong? If my insights had been inaccurate, it made perfect sense that I would now struggle to trust myself or my intuitive abilities. But if they had been correct, it also explained why I felt so unsafe about stepping into my power and openly sharing my gifts. As if my inner inquiry had been spoken aloud, the next word she shared profoundly shaped my relationship with intuition and how I would use this skill for the rest of my life. She said, "The insight you shared was true when you shared it, but it set into motion a series of events that ultimately discredited its validity. Others actively sought to change that outcome, and they succeeded. As a result, the premonition you shared did not come to pass." After that session, I decided that if I were to be of genuine service to people, I would focus solely on receiving information that could guide, strengthen, and validate their own inner knowing. I resolved not to access the future, but to support people in their present. I would offer no promises of a desired or potential future, only affirmation of the power that exists within each one of us when trust and acceptance transcend our habits of self-preservation and protection. To serve in this way, I realized I would first have to trust that it was safe for me to share myself with the world. I needed to cultivate faith that others would trust the information I offered, use it in uplifting and wholesome ways, and that it would resonate with them. I had to believe in myself and recognize myself in everyone I touched. The information I channeled would need to stand on its own as an inner knowing or feeling, without requiring proof or fantastical external manifestations. I arrived at a decision we all face at some point: to trust that I was created perfectly as I am, with intentionally crafted challenges, apprehensions, shortcomings, and obstacles designed for my growth, while also being imbued with talents, gifts, strengths, and skills thoughtfully bestowed to enrich my life and contribute meaningfully to the world around me. I understand that this method of channeling may seem inferior or less dependable compared to the channeled messages many people have come to value. However, this perspective is not intended to diminish the wisdom of the Abraham Hicks, Cryon, Matt Kahn, or others. On the contrary, it is meant to highlight and glorify your own magnificence. You may also be a feeler or a knower. You might believe that your insights only have value if they can be validated with external proof, as described earlier. I challenge you to question that belief. We are all part of the one. Expressions, voices, eyes, ears, hearts, and transmissions of the one. Regardless of how Source communicates with you, it is engaging in a profound and invaluable relationship with you, one that contributes meaningfully to our collective consciousness. This relationship can inspire you to share your heart's guidance without requiring it to manifest in specific ways, such as external visions or entities expressing themselves through your body. It may instead remain a lifelong, intimate connection shared through your daily acts and deeds rather than through books or YouTube videos. Accepting this fundamental reality can offer immense comfort during the process of self-realization. The truth that you, we, and everything else is an expression of the one reminds us of something extraordinary. Everything, including us, is pretty darn miraculous. Beyond being miraculous, everything, and I mean absolutely everything, is intentional, purposeful, and useful within the oneness. Nothing is wrong, wasted, or without value. You are an expression of Spirit, the Divine, God, or whatever name resonates with you for the one infinite intelligence that is consciousness. Every part of you reflects this omnipotent presence. Knowing this How will you choose to channel this truth into the world? Once I realized I didn't resonate with accessing information about people's futures, I opened myself to insights that aligned with my purpose in the present. I chose to offer messages of validation and reassurance that were practical and grounded in the now. I recall, as a young woman of 18, a friend asking me what I wanted to be remembered for after my death. What did I want to achieve in life? My answer was simple. I wanted to positively impact humanity. I really did say that when I was 18. And I still feel that way today. I wanted to be remembered for helping make the world a better place. No, I was not auditioning for Miss America. I genuinely didn't know what that aspiration would look like as a career. I wasn't trying to sound virtuous. I simply cared deeply about uplifting and nurturing people, especially those navigating pain or discomfort. As my journey of self-discovery unfolded, I gradually understood that my service to others would involve sharing my own process of evolution. I began by focusing on physical health. I earned a certificate in nutritional consultation and taught myself and others the value of self-care through diet, nutrition, supplementation, and detoxification. But over time, this approach felt insufficient. Next, I embarked on a program centered around mental and emotional well-being. I joined a mentorship program to become a wellness coach, learning techniques for stress reduction, positive thought reprogramming, and emotional release. After years of applying these methods, I discovered another layer of self-care through energy work, particularly Reiki. Each step on my path led me from one aspect of self-care to the next, uncovering progressively subtler dimensions until I reached a holistic understanding. Through this journey, I learned to care for every aspect of myself, every aspect of my being, my body, mind, emotions, and soul. However, at each stage of evolution, I initially dismissed earlier practices in favor of new ones. For instance, during my wellness coaching mentorship, I believed that mental and emotional strategies were superior to physical practices. I thought positive thinking and affirmations alone could transform my body. Later, when I delved into energy work, I briefly believed that focusing solely on the energetic body was the ultimate solution to balancing and healing. Eventually, I realized that each facet of my being is interconnected, forming a dynamic and multidimensional whole. Whole with a W. No one aspect is more important than another. They inform and influence each other in an ongoing, harmonious exchange. Through every practice of self-care, I was returning to a state of love, integrating all the layers of myself into one unified expression. Caring for my physical body has by far been the most challenging area to remain consistent in. I am frequently reminded to cultivate love and compassion for myself and others as I witness self-sabotaging habits, poor dietary choices, sporadic exercise routines, and addictive patterns like smoking, overindulgence, or unconscious use of mind-altering substances. This area serves as my entry point into self-love. The physical realm is where I most easily fall into judgment, rejection, or criticism. Whether it's my body, my environment, or another physical expression, it is the space where I am repeatedly guided to accept, allow, and appreciate what is. In addition to, of course, trusting that everything is designed to support me. So many people who take the courageous step onto the spiritual path find themselves repeating the same mantra of unworthiness or resistance that likely served as the catalyst for seeking this path in the first place. Maybe I can finally find the answer to feel whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy on the spiritual path. The story often continues like this. I didn't find it as a consumer in that last relationship or from the promotion I finally landed. I also didn't achieve fulfillment when I reached my ideal weight. I was equally disappointed after moving to that new town and attending the seminar that promised life-changing epiphanies. Perhaps my purpose and path to fulfillment lies in turning my attention this way. No? Okay, maybe that way. Not that way either? This is hard. The roadmap is nowhere to be found. What am I supposed to do? I must be getting it all wrong. I need somebody's help. Please, somebody fix me. Right? SOS. Often the old compare and contrast seeker's paradigm gets packed along with the quartz crystals, affirmation books, and multicolored scarves. Without realizing it, we're at it again, attempting to exchange the unwanted for the desired. We believe that when we're living correctly, the manifestation of our desires will serve as proof of our efforts and the reward of our dedication to a God beyond us. So we seek and search for answers about how to get it right, only to find ourselves with more questions. Perhaps along the way we encounter the concept of no self. We attempt to integrate the idea that there is only oneness and individuality is a myth. A spiritual teacher offers the imagery that we are drops of water in the ocean, never separate, always part of the whole. This notion feels good at first, so we commit to letting ourselves go. There is no self. I am only oneness. But then the question arises, who is letting go? Who will know when the process is complete? You will. And so another layer of discord emerges to be reconciled, another question to pursue. How can I let myself go? Maybe you abandon the effort to dissolve yourself and gravitate towards the law of attraction movement. Instead of transcending yourself, you aim to transcend your circumstances. You focus all your mental energy on manifesting a dream born of dissatisfaction, longing, and disappointment. I have been hurt in these ways by my relationships, so I will now seek relationships absent of these past qualities and wounds. But the patterns persist. You find yourself in similar dynamics and feel devastated that you haven't overcome them. You feel defeated by life and further separated from the perfection you are being asked to accept. Now, you believe you're incapable of transcending yourself or your undesirable circumstances. I have failed to evolve. I'm not good enough to graduate from spiritual school. Not resourceful enough to make the grade. Not savvy enough to ace life's pop quiz. Not evolved enough to move beyond the catalyst that guided me towards self-realization in the first place. Feel the weight of disappointment. Could there be anything more disheartening than feeling like you failed at spiritual enlightenment? Is there any greater disappointment than caring so deeply about your evolution and constantly feeling like you're falling short? But why do we think we're failing? Who is feeling devastated during this process? We often look outward to find what we believe is missing. We examine our current circumstances, seek validation that we are getting it right. For example, we might interpret a challenging relationship as evidence of a low vibration, rather than an opportunity to resolve lingering emotional content and practice the art of interdependence. We conclude that attracting someone who highlights our insecurities and disregards our feelings must mean we are unworthy or unprepared for a partner who values our well-being and celebrates our self-expression. We convince ourselves that if what is happening now isn't aligned with our hopes, then those hopes must be out of reach. Why? Why do we do this? Because we've been conditioned to believe that what we desire lies beyond us, not within us. I'm sure you've heard this before, but it bears repeating. All the answers you require are within you. Yet, knowing this rarely breaks the habit of looking outward. Why? Because the law of attraction movement has deeply influenced the spiritual journey, leaving many feeling inadequate if their envisioned dream life hasn't materialized. If we're not experiencing the life we've dreamed of, affirmed, and desired, we assume there's more work to do. Instead of appreciating the growth opportunities inherent in a challenging relationship, for example, we see it as proof that we are unworthy of something more fulfilling. The present becomes a relentless exercise in comparison. This is what I have. This is what I want. How far am I from what I want? How can I lessen the gap? We wonder, if I'm grateful for what I have, will it guarantee that I get what I want? How much more healing do I need to achieve my desired results? But who do you believe holds the answers to these questions? From this perspective, there's always more to do, more limiting beliefs to release, more people to forgive, more negativity to dissipate, more cleanses to complete, and more tithing to offer. While a God outside of us determines when we've done enough. But what if the only limiting belief Source is asking you to surrender is the idea that anything is not exactly as it is designed to be in this moment? What if Source is simply inviting you to make one subtle yet profound shift in awareness, a shift from believing you could have acted differently to accepting that you've always made the only decision possible in each moment? What if you chose to see the God inside as the one ever-present companion, guiding your decisions, continually adjusting your trajectory, so that expansion, growth, and evolution are your only possible pathways? Contrast this with the popular belief that your mind is the ultimate driver of your life's direction while being judged by an external God. Which one feels better? Imagine your free will is actually the power to overlay whatever commentary you desire onto your experiences and circumstances, not your capacity to bend reality to your personal preferences. Wouldn't your reality feel more valuable and harmonious if you let go of the belief that your greatest task is to reshape external experiences and circumstances to your liking, and instead embrace and love yourself and everything around you as expressions of Source made manifest? From this vantage point, a challenging relationship is a supportive manifestation by the God inside, a divine opportunity to anchor and express qualities like empowerment, discernment, and confidence. It ceases to be evidence of failure or unworthiness because there is no external authority critiquing you, nor are you denying any aspect of your experience. There is only the omnipresent, omnipotent, and omnipotent presence within, guiding you towards alignment as you embrace a perspective of an inclusivity. How might your way of being in the world shift if you followed this new perspective to influence your perception of everything, your relationships, body, thoughts, career, home, spiritual practices, passions, and even your actions or inactions? Imagine no longer carrying resistant dialogue in your mind about everything around you. What if you were so willing to meet each moment with respect and respond in alignment with your inner knowing that nothing provoked you to react with disrespect or malice? What if you could embrace where you are so completely that every emotion you experienced could be acknowledged, felt, and allowed to flow without attaching any meaning or story to it? And if a story did arise, could you give it all of your attention with openness, curiosity, and discerning wisdom? Or would you instead expend energy trying to suppress or eliminate it? What if moments of irritation or frustration during interactions with others became your cue to part ways without labeling yourself or the other person as wrong, unworthy, annoying, overly sensitive, or inconvenient? Could you see your life as a play with characters entering and exiting scenes in alignment with the script, free of judgment or resistance? Try adopting this mindset and observe how your experience of being alive as the character called you transforms. Commit so fully and completely to yourself that becoming wholly integrated becomes your only option. This is the essence of the all-inclusive approach, which I will refer to as all in from here forward. All in. Fortunately, divine intelligence provides countless opportunities to trust your intuition, accept yourself as you are, and grow into a new way of being in the world. This is a gift we continually receive. Opportunities to strengthen the areas we incarnated to evolve. How can we welcome these opportunities without judging ourselves for needing another lesson? By embracing the eternal process of evolution with love. Love, 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 love. We have an eternity to be consciousness. That awareness frees us from the pressure to get it right the first time. We are not striving for perfection. We are inherently perfect. We are here to live and learn through experience. When you internalize this understanding, the next time an opportunity arises, such as entangling yourself in someone else's experience instead of being a loving, objective witness to their expansion, you can acknowledge the codependent pattern you're maturing rather than judging yourself for not avoiding it. And we're back to the example of the relationship that you might be in that you didn't want. In this way, you can begin to appreciate the ongoing process of refining, strengthening, deepening, and expanding in which we are all participating, either consciously or unconsciously. The choice is yours. Thank you for diving into this chapter's content with me. It was a pleasure to connect with you. If you would like to deepen your introspection and connection with the material, you can click on this companion video in which I discuss more intimately the topic we just touched on and offer some exercises, practices, or prompts to support you more fully in your journey of self-realization. Feel free to leave a comment about your experience, insights, or challenges. All of you is welcome here. And I look forward to connecting with you again.